Here we go. All right. Hello, hello. Great awakening, right? This is the title for today. Roger and I am going to talk about that, and he wishes to start with the advice for today. So, do you want to say anything to that
Well,
while
yeah,
I'm getting it out here?
yeah. Let me talk about it a little bit because I know a lot of people, some people might have read my messages and maybe understood them or maybe been to a Wilhelm channeling session. But the other day I posted something that said we all succeed the same way. Every human succeeds the same way, and it's in our consciousness. There's nothing else. The way that we experience ourselves, our lives, and the world is through our consciousness. And we choose that consciousness as well as we live our lives, meaning that we will make different choices that cause us to either appreciate who we are or not. That's just what happens. And that's an energetic choice that we make. However, we each have individual purposes, let's say. Everyone has one. Every single soul born has a purpose and a mission that they're supposed to do while they're on the earth. That's just what happens. We don't always get there. We don't always understand it. However, throughout civilization, we develop things and we learn and we pass that on. That's how the world evolves. But it sometimes happens really strangely. And what happened for me when I talk about the work that I'm doing now, it's about this particular time in our world, which we're moving through a huge transition. And it's about embodying who you're meant to become in this world, because that's a different energetic choice that you will make. And it's a different energy that you will put into the world. And it's one of acceptance and love and inclusion. But when we can't get there because we don't accept who we are, we don't accept, it seems a little scary. And many people right now, and I'm saying this because I've received my last two consultations of people saying, I don't know what's happening to me and I'm really afraid and I need to talk. And I understand that because we move
Mhm.
through these periods in our lives and in the world, and that's what's happening now. So now and so last night, I said, okay, I know that I was given things on specific days, and I just had to go back and look. And this one was from 3 years ago when I first started talking about the restructuring of our world, attempting to bring everybody into awareness of what we would be moving through, because it could look a little turbulent, which it has. We just saw all the fires in Maui. We saw all sorts of weather events and all of these things I've been talking about for years, but it's an energetic change that we're all moving through. And this is why we're experiencing either a level of fear or anger. We have a lot of that because that's old stuff coming up. We got to let go of it or whatever. So now the message might make sense for them. I had to stop last night when I saw it because I looked last night to see what's the message for tomorrow. That's what I do.
Mhm.
And now it'll make sense.
Yeah, what I receive when I listen to you right now is that it felt so weird, right? And to accept that weirdness, to accept the paradox of this whole thing, and to accept that actually what we thought is reality is a big lie and a construct that has no real future
Mm-hmm.
because of the direction that we chose to go to. So it is very interesting, I believe. And I felt super weird as well. I thought I'm going crazy. Um, the moment I
I'm getting a lot of
realized
those,
it,
yes.
because it was at the end of the day, I mean, you mentioned it already, but like I another woman asked me this question, but yeah, but how are you doing this now being at home, right? Someone here who knows the family, someone who lives
Mm-hmm.
in the surrounding, and she knows, or she follows me on Facebook for quite a while, and
Mm-hmm.
she saw my development in the last few years. And then we had a brief conversation the other day, and her words, or she asked me, yeah, but you've developed now in the last days because you have been away. And I say, yes, it did help,
Mm-hmm.
though I rediscovered what I already knew. So there wasn't something new. I
Mm-hmm.
just learned to let go of the bullshit that I don't like anyway. And I've had that worldview that I'm now sitting in. Sure, I developed, I'm older, I earned experience, or I learned through experiences, and this is why I speak the way I speak. Though what I was ever contemplating about became true,
Mm-hmm.
right? the information that I always received that has been contradictory to the majority of the world or how the world is living, I found out it's true. So I thought I'm weird. I thought I'm like I really felt hopeless for a long time of my life because everyone just lived in lies. And I chose to start believing in the lies as well, although I knew from the first day that this doesn't feel right. So yeah, I have transformed in the last 3.5 years, or the majority of it I've done in the last 2 years very rapidly. But it felt weird the moment I learned to trust myself again, right? And then it's self-trust that we do develop.
And have you read the message from today yet?
I've done the Yes, I did, but I forget those things too. Like it's not
Okay, so now it'll
really
make this is
common.
I'm so now this is perfect. So I'm so glad you said all of that. And again, we have levels of consciousness that we will access at particular times if we become willing, and there are always more. We're never done with that. And so a
Mhm.
lot of times we don't remember some of the things that we've picked up or read or experienced before. I don't remember any of them, but when I see them again, then oh, now that makes sense. That's how we learn and develop anything, but we have to be willing to do that too. So, okay, now the message will make sense.
Yeah, we do indeed. And yeah, I
And
mean,
then we'll talk about it.
this is again the knowledge, right? Like that people tap in. Like it is nothing new that we're talking about. Like it is
Right.
just like we're talking about the same thing every time, though with different contexts, and
Mhm.
it does all make sense because life usually is very simple, right? If people really analyze even the message now, like they will gain a big understanding of how simple it pretty much is because we are all born worthy, right? So August 12th, 23, you were born worthy. Your worth is located within your authentic self and your connection to all that is. You make those discoveries as you live your physical life experience, depending on your willingness to take the journey of self-discovery. We gave you a message 3 years ago on this date, and it will make more sense to you today as your awareness has grown and only requires your acceptance. Same day, 2020. You were born to discover your worth. We love this message so much, for it will speak to all. You are collectively discovering your worth due to your world's conditions, but you have always done this. In other words, you agreed to be born during a particular time that enable or to time to enable you to have individual experiences that will cause you to evolve, which inevitably adds to the evolvement of all. The only difficulty you have experienced in your life is due to not understanding and accepting the process precisely as Roger didn't, which causes him to fulfill his purpose, as we will explain. Yesterday, Roger had a group meeting where the topic was, why is change so difficult? As Roger looked at the group, he saw his purpose. Roger knew that he had experienced the fear and uncertainty many were, and because of that, when he shared his experience with others, they find solace and will offer that to others. It became quite apparent to Roger that his life trajectory has brought him to this moment, and he attracted all those who would benefit. None of you are accidentally places or having random experiences, including your pandemic. We gave Roger a process some time ago that was discussed last night. What are you hiding? That process intends to get you to examine things you have judged about yourself, regretted, believed you did something wrong, or any other limiting thought you may have had. When you are no longer willing to hide those things from yourself and others, you will find your worth. It took Roger a while to find that purpose. Yours will emerge at the perfect time in your life, and this current time is helping you. Wilhelm. So, yes,
Let me explain a couple of those things. I
Um,
know you had some of those words were a little challenging.
bro, like generally English reading for me now, the moment when I'm more in, yes, they're challenging with the German language in my head and switching around, it's a different thing living in an English country, but no excuses. I'll perform better. It's just work in progress, right? That's it.
Yes, but let
Yeah.
me explain this because people, most wouldn't have understood this because my work has come about in a different way. I
Mhm.
have precognitive awareness where I can feel the energies of what's happening, and people have seen me receive Wilhelm, so that's how I do it. But I still have to go back and study it and become comfortable with it and accept it, like every single person. We all do the same thing. When I changed the name a while ago, when I knew what had happened, what I had, accumulated, we don't know what we're going to do as we live our lives until we start to look and see what we've accomplished. I didn't
Mhm.
know when I started creating this work that it was going to be turned into a transformational program. I had no idea that I was doing that. But what happened was it transformed my life. And the point of that message is every single person does the same thing. We
Mhm.
come into the world isn't complete. We have to make it, and we make it through what we choose to do with our individual lives, and that creates the collective world and lives that we're all living.
It's like a puzzle.
Mhm,
Like we have to put the pieces together the way they fit. And
mhm,
you feel when something doesn't fit, right? If
mhm.
something isn't complete and it feels like I just saw a puzzle the way you said it.
And see, because again, when you speak, my guides will speak to me and say, "Yeah, we gave you that message. You could read it to him, and he could." That's what happens. If
Mhm.
somebody said something about my group, some of my group things as well, I have to go take some time to find the message because I know I've already written it. I said that when I changed the name to your last development program, it was because I knew that I had all the information and no one else would need anything because it's always a matter of, are we going to ask ourselves the correct questions? Are we going to allow the
Mm.
information that's within us to come up? Are we going to start to believe it? And are we going to live lives that cause us to be happy and successful? It's within every single person. And because of the life that I lived, that message said, I understand all of this. I've gone through most of the things that people are struggling with now. This is why a lot of
Yeah.
people get upset with me when I say, you don't have to struggle, you don't have to be in fear. That's why I wrote the book on fear, because I had to move through that. Whatever we do, we give back to others, and then the world evolves. But when we can't own who we are, we can't do that. When we can't go in and find out the essence and our importance, it's challenging. And
Yeah.
it's challenging because we don't understand we're supposed to be unique, which was the message from a few days ago.
I made a post earlier and I asked, like I said, my highest value is honesty and yours, and I asked the people what theirs is on Facebook. And like my intention with honesty is very clear. Like I have to be honest in everything that I do because this
Mhm,
is who I am. I have to state what I like, what I don't like, right? And I think in terms of the awakening part, like the moment we learn to be honest to ourselves, to our feelings, emotions, thoughts, experiences, learning to heal all of it, right? That
mhm.
we thought is wrong, or that we are wrong, and all of those things, it's just not right. We've just haven't done the things that we like doing. And I've walked into the direction of that for many years, or better ways, I chose to go there because I kind of made the choice to experience how it is to be human. Because this for me, I always felt weird. I always felt not from here, right? And this is the message that I also received, though I couldn't do anything with it really. Like it
Mhm.
was difficult for me to understand. But the moment I learned to be honest to myself and do the things that actually are aligned with my thoughts, right? Thoughts and actions, when we do align them, like we will see a different life. I cannot say I don't like certain things and keep doing them. Like
Mhm.
this is just hurting myself, and this is me holding myself back if I keep doing those things.
Okay, so let me translate. Because again,
I
I always
think
like,
I think we're a tech team. Have you watched wrestling?
Because
Yeah.
again, you will speak about things that because you have this awareness that is just so incredible for your age. I didn't have that. I hid it a lot, and I had to keep just making those choices. But this is the point of it. We will each do things that our chronological age never matters. It's our soul's purpose. It's our mission. It just unfolds at different times. And and what that message is saying, everyone is unfolding now because of the change in the world. And we will decide what we will do with that. We'll either be afraid and angry and keep creating that, or we're going to decide we're going to move through the old stuff and become happy and discover who we are and own that and put a completely new energy into the world. And that's but that, for me to tell you that, I couldn't have done it several years ago. I was in process. Everybody is, you see.
Yeah. It's a never-ending process. It is. Like it won't change, right? The Great Awakening. We never like there is a line from Donny Arcade. I like to mention people because I know that they deserve it
Mhm.
for the way they perceive things. And Donny Arcade, like he said, it is hard to live the American dream if you keep on awakening. And what he means
Mhm.
by that is like you just keep realizing things about yourself and the world, and the way that you acted yesterday is not the way that you acted today. And it's very difficult to to build up a business or like to create something when you keep working on yourself. And like I'm not the same person as I have been yesterday, so I really feel deeply what he means, because the moment that I started up in business and I changed and I wanted to change the business with it,
Mhm.
right? And I just like kept continuously doing this, which is fine. This is the way that I choose, though it also kind of came with its challenges on its own, right? So it is always, wow, like the two people that you just talked about, they feel weird because of the
Mhm.
things that are happening. And I felt weird with those things happening because I'm like, oh wow, yes, I can do this now instead of that, because it feels better, it feels more aligned. Right?
Now,
So
I don't know the person you just mentioned,
I
but
had the two clients that said like things happening in their lives,
no,
it's
no, no,
just,
no. I'm talking the person you mentioned about the American way. That one.
yeah,
Uh,
Donny Arcade, he's making music with Billy Carson as an example,
oh, okay.
right? Like,
So
yes.
yeah, that's perfect. So let me talk about that, because people could not understand years ago when when I started receiving the information about the restructuring of our world, and I kept saying the United States would lead the way. And that made absolutely no sense. And when I could
Mhm.
go back and read messages that say this is an energetic change. The
Yeah.
United States has led the way in our world for decades, since it's been around, since its formation. However, what I was given, and this particular energetic change, was that we didn't live up to everything. And that's what he was saying. When you keep awakening, you say, wait a minute, this isn't the way it was supposed to be.
Mhm.
I wasn't supposed to be subjected to all of this. I was supposed to be happy. I was supposed to be free. I was supposed to experience liberty. None of us,
Mhm.
and we can't do that
That's
unless
right.
we can't do it for ourselves unless
Yeah.
we want to do it for everyone. And that's the transition that we're moving through right now. That's the awakening. When we understand our importance and we start to see it in others, then we start to prosper, because Mother Gaia says, yes, we want the world to survive, but it can only happen if you start to love yourself and bring your gifts to the world. Every single person has them. And I'm saying this because I had to shift my focus, as you know, what we're doing with the team. And um, everyone's not going to understand this work. Everyone's
Mhm.
not going to do it either,
Yeah.
because I struggled with it coming through and breaking through,
This
but
is why
it's
you
all,
explain the words that I'm speaking, because not everyone like understands what I'm talking
yes,
about. Yeah.
yes.
It is difficult, right? Like I hear from other directions, or I've heard like several months ago, and it was a test, I know this, to change the way I communicate in public because people don't understand what I'm talking about.
Mhm,
And this was painful because I don't wanna. I
mhm,
don't want to change myself. Like why should I do that? I just
Hmm.
have to be me. I have to be happy with the words that I speak, right? And people understand it, or people don't.
Hmm.
And the right people will always be attracted, right? And
Hmm.
yeah, it is with every single one who keeps
Oh,
awakening,
that's good.
right? That like people won't understand you start making different choices. People won't
Right.
understand why you start speaking about different things, or why you start speaking up about things that you perceive as right from your
Right.
point of view on, right? And it takes courage to be you, because not everyone walks into the same direction.
Right.
So yeah, but you
I
will
was
meet people on your way, this for sure.
I was having a meeting with someone yesterday. He's a mentor. He's the great mentor, and he has all the answers. I said, well, that might be a problem because none of us have all the answers. We're always in
Mm,
process. Even if you're a great mentor, you're not done. But he was talking to me. He says, well, you should use these words. You should say the words this way. I said, oh, is that to manipulate someone? Oh, is
mhm,
that this thing about, oh, you have to like say the right words to attract your tribe and get them there. I said, no, I can't do that because I know that everyone has this greatness within them. And if I have to trick them into uncovering that, they're never going to get there. They have to want it. They have to know, they have to feel that there's something there they hadn't gotten to. And if they hear anything that I say that resonates for them, then they'll be my client. But for me to change what and that was a problem all along because I censored
mhm.
myself instead of
Yeah,
owning what I knew, which
yeah.
most people do. That's the difficulty. But we live in a
Bro,
world where it's
this is
about
real.
marketing and it's about, tricking
Mhm.
and I said, that's not my game.
Bro, this is something that we can keep mentioning, because many people
Mhm.
choose that way because they haven't owned themselves yet. And the message says it, but talks about it as well. Authentic self. Like who
Exactly.
or what is your authentic self, right? Is your authentic
Mhm.
self when you repeat what other people tell you? Or is your authentic self you actually being yourself and talking from the bottom of your heart, right? Without trying to be like someone, right? Just be you. Learn from people. Okay, yeah, take advice is one thing, but actually to like this is manipulative type of thing. This is
Mhm.
also why I have kind of um like some people who use NLP, right? And just using certain words and terminologies, or like certain sales
Mhm.
people. Like, I mean, I ain't do that. Like, it never felt right.
Mhm.
And people will fall down with it, because people, what
Mhm.
they do is they manipulate people, and this is bad karma, so it comes back anyway. So, yeah, just
The
be
thing that
true, honesty,
yeah,
big time.
and there's so many things that and people will probably hear it more of it on the next live conversation on the 16th
Yes.
because we're going to be moving through some more changes and I know a lot of information will come through. But what I know, and there's a reason I look at people in a different way. You reach a level of awareness in your consciousness where you stop judging yourself, where you can
Mm-hmm.
appreciate who you are, and then you start seeing others that way too. You kind of
Mm-hmm.
understand they may not have known where the next level could be for them or the next step to take. And as that message said, those of us who have figured that out, then we give it back to others. There's no, again, person who has it, who knows the answers. We're just making it up. That's all we're doing. And so, but what we can do is make it up to something that makes us, causes us to feel good and to love ourselves. And that's going to be the greatest contribution that we can make to our world, especially during this time of transition.
Big time, yeah. Making things up. Like for me, like everyone, like you keep awakening, you can't go around it, you can stay ignorant, you can become unhappy, right? This is one option, or you choose to go for it, to go for
Mhm.
yourself, big time, right? Because this is anyway what your soul wants to experience. I mean, you can choose how many times you will bump your head against the wall, and
Mhm.
like usually the first time is painful enough, like you shouldn't do it again.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's your choice, right?
That's
I
it.
know
I love that.
if I know that certain things are unhealthy, like why am I doing it? Why am I keep doing it? Like what lies am I choosing to tell myself, right?
Do you know that joke?
Tell me. Uh,
somebody somebody was watching someone beating their heads, and this is what we do in our lives too. It's the best joke ever. They said, you're beating your head, they're just standing there just beating their heads against the wall, and someone said, why are you doing that? Why are you beating your head against the wall? Well, because it feels so good when I stop.
mm, mhm. Yeah,
best
exactly.
best best realization ever.
It is like it is what most of us are doing, right?
Mhm,
Like, and until we get it, until we understand why things happening over
mhm,
and over again, right? And we stop thinking like it happens, like life is against us, and we see like we just haven't learned out of our experiences yet. Like
mhm,
the moment that we extract the wisdom out of every situation and we see what it teaches us, what every single human being is teaching us in this particular moment, you have no time for judgments anymore because you see the value in every single one, right? And this is the like you see the value within yourself, and this is the key, right? We're conditioned to think negatively about ourselves and all of those things, but like how many times, right? How many personal development programs do people want to do? Like, let it be the last one. Like,
mhm. I did all of them.
like, right? Let it be the last one. Let it be the last development
And
program.
and the one thing, and not everyone's going to understand this, but as we keep talking, and if they come to the session, they will get it. But every single person is born with a divine plan, something that could cause their lives to be magnificent and thrilling and wonderful, and they would have everything they want. But they're also born with limitations, and the limitations only exist in their thinking. And the limitations have been programmed into them, maybe from birth, maybe before that, which many of us are coming to understand. However, the solution to all of it, as you call your podcast, the solution is always going within, figuring out who we are. That's a consciousness, a raising of awareness. Then things change for us, and they change for our world. Yeah.
Solutions are everywhere, right? Like many people just don't focus on that. They focus on the symptom, on the problem, but they
And
lose.
yes, but I want them to understand, because again, you have so much awareness and they may not. And I want them to understand that the reason they keep focusing on the old stuff is because they were taught to do that. And it's just been a habit, and it just keeps repeating. And I've done
Yeah.
it throughout my life, so I understand it, which is why I can guide others out of that rabbit hole. That's because that's what it is.
And this is it. Like sometimes, like if you sit one on one with me, like I feel it when people are coming to one on one sessions with me. Usually after 30 minutes already, like
Mhm.
they have stuff to think about for the next months, right? Like, and it's I just feel what other people go through in a way that I figure out very fast, very quickly what's holding them back from realizing their true potential and themselves on a soul level, right? I feel them. I can see it because I know exactly how I would feel if I would sit on that place. This is just like the ability that is behind it. It's not that I'm special, like, but it's I'm just aware how I would feel if I would do things the way that this person is doing things and talking and acting. Yeah.
We have another one scheduled before the channeling session, right? I think another one of these talks, I
Two,
think something.
thinking
Okay, so
two.
that'll be, okay, I'm gonna just talk, I'm just gonna say, talk about one other thing, because this, I was so thrilled, and I want people to understand this, because a lot of emotions are going on, and some people might be feeling frightened or crying for no reasons and all that sort of thing. And so in the group meeting yesterday, one person was saying that they were talking about one of the days in the program they were going through, and it just brought them to tears. And I said, oh, good.
Oh, the way you say it, yeah.
People say, why do you do that? I said, because you're not supposed to be. That's some old stuff that is being released now, and it
Yeah.
can't get released unless you go through that emotional purging. And so I'm thrilled when I see that happening. And somebody else had the same kind of thing, different thing. And then by the end of the group, we were just all in heaven. because we knew that we had caused something to be released. And now, because the whole point of this work is to get people to release all of that so they can create lives that are magnificent, so they can live prosperly, in prosperity and have all of that. And that only comes with understanding who they are and getting rid of the old stuff. And sometimes crying is the best way to do it.
Oh,
So,
it is, because we have to realize what the heck we're doing.
yeah,
And in the moment we become aware, even more self-aware, right? I cry. I I learned to, like, for me this is happiness. For me also, my perception of pain changed a lot, right? When if you
right.
see someone crying, if you see someone opening up like that, the reason why you react the way you do and say, oh great, right, and you can do it with a sense of humor, the reason is because you learned what pain actually teaches,
Mhm.
right? And you know what's on the other side is after this person
Right.
right, worked
And
with it.
so I do, it's so crazy because I get thrilled when I see that happening. I go, oh,
Yeah.
we're making progress now. We're
Mhm.
getting somewhere. Anyway, okay. Thank you. This was good
Yeah,
today.
it was, and I know it's from big value, right? And again,
Mhm.
if you haven't understood anything completely or something, no, if you haven't understood something completely, not anything, then just go to the message, anyadvicefortoday.com, and read it, analyze it,
Again,
and
yeah,
again, and read it 10 times if you need to, or take one line, 2 lines, and analyze those 2 lines, and this is already is enough to make progress in any area, and you will have that ability every day, so don't worry about that. So yeah, let this day be the last day where you move sidewards or backwards, because let's move forward, right?
that's what
Let's
we're
move
doing.
forward. Exactly.
Yes,
So thank you, sir,
great.
for
Thank you.
everything. Thanks everyone for watching. 2 days time we're going live again, probably a little earlier than today, but yeah, much love, peace, love, harmony. Let us a like there and comment what you like or what you maybe see different. I'd love to have a healthy discussion about things as well. Love that. Alrighty, see you soon.